Union Minister General V.K. Singh has slammed Rahul Gandhi for his remark where he has promised to scrap the Agnipath scheme if the India alliance comes to power, after the Lok Sabha elections, that is. He was quoted as saying that Rahul Gandhi must serve in the army first and then make any statement about the Agniveer scheme. The Narendra Modi government had rolled out the Agniveer recruitment scheme for the short-term induction of personnel into the armed forces. General V.K. Singh's response has come after Rahul Gandhi had said that the scheme is one that has been imposed by the Prime Minister's office. He said that the Indie bloc government will come to power and the first thing we do will be to throw the Agniveer scheme in the dustbin. Let's in fact listen in to what both of them had to say.
ये नरेंद्र मोदी की योजना है। आर्मी इस योजना को नहीं चाहती है, ये ऊपर से थोपी गई है और हमारा पहला काम अग्निवीर योजना को फाड़ कर कूड़ेदान में फेंकने का होगा। हम दो तरीके के शहीद नहीं चाहते हैं।
देखिए, राहुल गांधी को मैं एक छोटी सी सलाह देता हूं, फौज में आके नौकरी करो, उसके बाद ये सब कुछ बोलना। बिना नौकरी किए बिना फौज को जाने बोलना उचित नहीं है और वो क्या कहते हैं क्या नहीं कहते हैं उसके ऊपर टिप्पणी करने का कोई।
All right, let's talk about this. Joining us to shed light on these different perspectives is Major General Sudhakar Ji, geopolitical, strategic and defense expert. Ejaz Hussain, BJP leader, is also joining us on the broadcast. Wing Commander Anuma Acharya, Congress spokesperson, also with us on the show. Last but not the least, Sumit Peer, senior political commentator, also joins us on the program. Sumit, I'll begin with you. Well, General V.K. Singh has a point that if Rahul Gandhi wants to talk about what the Agniveer, concept is all about, he should perhaps spend some time, with the army, understanding the drills and understanding the rigmarole that they go through. But the fact of the matter is, Sumit, that for most part of our, independence, since we gained independence, most of these laws, most of these attributes which concern our Jawans have been taken by, bureaucrats and politicians who themselves have had no idea how it is like to serve in the army. Then why should Rahul Gandhi be singled out? I'm not, in fact, defending Rahul Gandhi, but I'm trying to see this from every angle.
Having me on your show, it's not a question of Rahul Gandhi, it's basically the question of intent. Your intent is not to do capital expenditure. Your intent is not to build reserves. Your intent is not to train people who can be used in paramilitary, who can be used in police. Agniveer basically is a scheme in which you will upgrade the defense structure of India, including army, paramilitary forces, allied forces, all of them. Because when you are not absorbed in Agniveer, you get priority in other forces, like this paramilitaries and all that. Now, what Rahul Gandhi wants to do, he is against 370. He is against triple talaq. He will get back the PFI. He will kind of dismantle Agniveer. Anything which is forward looking, Rahul Gandhi wants to come and dismantle that because he is using politics for that. When they were in the power, did they do one rank, one pension? They did not do. What did they do for the army? Is his partner and good buddy, Sandeep Dixit, said to our respected army general, Gali ka Gunda. I mean, that is the mentality they have. And what did they do to Sandeep Dixit? Is he a part of the family? Is he part of the party? Yes, he is part of the party. Today, the agony is that Rahul Gandhi is trying to disrupt anything which is productive and good for the country. Because look at the geopolitical threats we have. We need very big number of reserves. We need professionally trained soldiers. Some of them will be in the active army and some of them will be reserves and absorbed everywhere. And when need comes, we can get in these reserves and fight our enemies. We have hostilities on the right, hostilities on the left. And if there was so much of akrosh and rosh on the roads, except Bihar, where did you have protests? Again, the Bihar protests lasted for 2 days. After that, people are okay with it. The first batch has yet to come. After the first batch comes, and then after there are a couple of batches out, and then you feel there's widespread unemployment, nobody is absorbed, then you can cast aspersions and you can bring up an issue. Even the first batch is not out yet. How does Rahul Gandhi know it is trusted? How does he know people will not be absorbed? How does he know that people are not happy with it? How does he know there is widespread unemployment? The people like Mr. Rahul Gandhi who have never worked, जिन्होंने कोई नौकरी जिंदगी भर नहीं करी है, it is very easy for them who are born with a silver spoon in their mouth, who are born करोड़पति, अरबपति, to cast aspersions on people. ये गलत है, ये ठीक है. And Mr. Singh is absolutely right, General Singh. He has been the chief of army staff. He's saying, "Bhai, aake naukri to kar lo. You work in the army, then comment on the army because you have not worked anywhere. You have never been employed anywhere. Now you are commenting on the army, saying this is right, this is wrong. Leave your politics and army separate. Keep army out of your politics. You have 1001 issues to pick up. Go and work on them, but don't get the people and the strategic interest of India and the Indian National Army as a part of your political gimmickry. You are the people who once in 1962, Army told you, Air Force told you, we can reply to China. You said no. After 26/11, the Indian Army told you, we will go and beat the shit out of Pakistan. You told them no. Your party leaders say Army Chief, former Army Chief, Gali ka gunda, and you are the people, your leaders have said, Army mein to log jate hi marne ke liye. I mean, that is the kind of mentality you have. Now you are trying to become a saga of the army. You did not give them ORFP for so many years. You denied all the rights to army. You did not import a howitzer gun for 30 years. In your time, the bulletproof jackets which were imported had holes. You were importing Tatra trucks from a caterer in your United Kingdom. That is what you have done to the army. And after such a brilliant track record, and let's not forget the Bofors scam, it is better Rahul Gandhi keeps his mouth shut on this. That will be my piece of advice to Vineet.
All right, let me also rope in Wing Commander Anuma Acharya into this. Wing Commander Anuma Acharya, what do you make of what Rahul Gandhi has said? What do you make of the Agniveer concept? And, isn't this the best way to, in fact, introduce some sort of a prudence into our defense forces?
Don't budge in every 30 seconds, Vinny. So I have to say something which is against this scheme as well as General V.K. Singh. First of all, very responsibly and with all due respect to General V.K. Singh, I have 25 years service to my credit, and I know that, and the person who spoke before me, he is so ignorant. He talks about there is not even the first batch has passed out. This is what people should know. They are just here to make a propaganda. 4-5 batches are already passed, and armed forces do not know what to do with that. I do not know what is the Agniveers are meant for. I know that 99% of veterans are against this scheme, and this scheme is not doing good to neither to the youth of this country nor to the armed forces. I praise General Narayan, who at least said this after hanging his uniform, that this
Wing Commander Anuma Acharya, there seems to be... Wing Commander Anuma Acharya, there's a problem with your network. Wing Commander Anuma Acharya, there's a problem with your network. We keep losing you. That's because you're in a moving car. Why don't you, in fact, park your car, and if you're stationed somewhere, then we might be able to take you. We can't take you if you continue to join us from a moving car. Let me also rope in Major General Sudhakarji into this conversation. But before that, Sumit, whatever you've heard of Wing Commander Anuma Acharya, would you like to respond?
Agniveer was started in the June of 2002. देखिए, after 4 years, people will be asked to leave or go. So now tell me, we were in 24, so have 4 years passed away. So if you say the batches have gone and people are unemployed, it was supposed to happen after 4 saal, na? So how many? So after 22 to 24, only 2 years have gone by. 4 saal kahan ho gaye, Vineet ji? So what wrong did I say?
You have muted me, and I'm stationary in a place. Why are you not allowing me to complete?
Ma'am, we can't hear you. Ma'am, we can't hear you. There's no point in screaming. Ma'am, we can't hear you. Your network is your network is terribly bad. Your video has frozen. We can't use you. Please relocate. We can't use you in this condition. I'm sorry. Major General Sudhakarji, I'll come back to you. General Sudhakar?
I'm listening. Don't worry.
What do you make of what Rahul Gandhi has said? And first of all, what do you think of Agniveer? And as a concept, do you think it needs to be reviewed in any which way?
Vineet, firstly, thank you so much for getting me to your show. And I admire Sumit, whatever articulations he has made. He's a man of intellect and a lot of deep insight into every subject that he speaks. I am the one who opposed Agniveer tooth and nail. I am also one of the very few generals who was very vocal against Agniveer. When I was flying on a particular date to San Francisco, the moment I landed up in San Francisco airport, a lot of people called me up, so we need you on special interview on Agniveer. The country is burning. We need to have your perspective as to if you have said Agniveer is bad, then tell us something good about the Agniveer. So when I introspected and also analyzed in retrospect, how many countries in the world today have the system of Agniveer or something alike? China at one point in time had 3.2 million military population. It has already brought down through stages of progressive improvement and reduced the quantum of the force to 2 million. They are planning to further reduce this strength and bring it down 2 million. Why? All over the world, the entire world, without any exception, all the armies are going in for cost cutting. If you have to progress in a socio-economic paradigm, you have to actually go in and address the issues which fall under the heading of non-planned expenditure. Yes, I have been making a point with regard to Agniveer that until our borders are settled, until our island territories are identified, and we have a well-integrated overlapping surveillance system, surprised by the enemy, we need to actually tweak the current Agniveer process and modify a little bit so that the state-of-the-art equipments which are being inducted into the army, which demands a continuity of the personnel for the sake of efficiency, do not get compromised. This is the point I have been making. And also, being an infantryman, I must also acknowledge one fact, that the need of the hour today, if we have to look at the national interest and the nation building, is the discipline of the youth bulge. India, as on today, has got the highest youth bulge, almost close to 65% of population who are between the age of 15, and earlier it used to be 59. Now it is already been revised to 65 years of age. 65% of the population of India are forming a part of the youth bulge. If the unemployment problem is rife, if the social commitments and the engagement of the youth is not been catered for, not been addressed, how do you keep them under control? Discipline is the norm. And the future threat, Vinay, let me share with you, is not going to be a kinetic threat that we are used to in First and Second World War, or prior to that, a conventional kind of a threat. The threat is already rife within the internal order within our country. It is there in form of PFI, it is there in form of SIMI, it is there in form of different kinds of social media. The cyber attacks are taking place, and also narrative building is taking place against our own ethos and the secular kind of constitution that we have. So therefore, to prepare our nation for 2047 as a global power, I personally feel, although I had a different take of an issue, I am trying to subject myself to revision that there is a bigger meaning, there is a higher objective, there is a superior kind of a thought process and insight which has gone into before making a decision of this kind, because every man is responsible for security of the nation.
All right. Wing Commander Anuvacharya is back with us. Wing Commander Anuvacharya, I hope I can hear you now. Please go ahead with your...
I don't know.
Go ahead.
You got to tell me. You had muted me.
Yeah, we can hear you now. We can see you clearly as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I am just saying very responsibly that whatever these Agniveer have been deputed in the units, people do not know what to do with that, because they cannot be sent to Ladakh in the very intense areas. They cannot be sent. That is another policy. Our armed forces are deployed at 3 fronts now, and with the same thing, they are very stressful as of now, in which I find General V.K. Singh's this remark very irresponsible. He is a general who was never been in no controversy. Like, he has always been in controversy, whether it was his date of birth issue or this statement and also when he has been serving as a junior officer to a lot of people who have been junior to him. He's been put up, he has been deputed as state ministers. And I think he is just trying to gain attention of the Prime Minister, nothing beyond it. It's a very irresponsible statement which General V.K. Singh came out with. And I must remind you that that Shri Kailash Vijayvargiya of BJP has already said that they are going to give employment to Agniveers outside BJP offices, security guards. So all of this together, and General V.K. Singh's statement, who is actually trying to gain the attention of Prime Minister to give him some job, he is making such kind of statements. They are very, very irresponsible. And one more thing I want to tell you, that any general who is now supporting this scheme are actually doing injustice to their own armed forces, because armed forces are silent protector of democracy, and we have been pledging democracy. And here, for example, in your program says that prostitution, look at the language these generals are now speaking in front of public. It is so shameful. I must say that such people have actually demeaned our ethos and our ethics of armed forces, our traditions of armed forces. We used to respect our seniors hands down, but now this time our general speaks in front of us in a national TV. I'm so ashamed of this kind of people who are even veterans. They should know that they have been trained in a different manner to behave, to conduct, to speak properly. Here I see it is absolutely against, just to show the line.
But Wing Commander Hanumacharya, what about Wing Commander Hanumacharya? What about your opinion on the Agniveer concept? Where do you stand on that?
This is a concept which is ruining our forces. One thing is very clear. Some books are getting right. The startup nation is growing, and that 17 lakh people have been implemented here in India. 140 crore people here.
Okay, let's right.
This scheme, no way is going to serve the forces, and also this is a threat to our security, our intelligence, and everything which is associated with our forces. And I want this government to release the book of General M.S. Sharma.
Understood, ma'am. Understood. Let me get a counter from Sumit Peer on this as well. Sumit, you have two people.
Not Sumit Peer. He's nobody. As he says.
Let him respond, ma'am. Why don't you calm down, ma'am? Please calm down. Wing Commander Hanumacharya, please calm down. Please calm down. Please calm down. Calm down, ma'am. All right. Please calm down. You said a lot. We need to get other people's point of view as well. You've said a lot. You've said a lot, ma'am. You've said a lot, ma'am. I'll come back to you. Sumit Peer. Sumit Peer. Ma'am, hold on. Ma'am, please. Don't talk over me, ma'am. Please. I gave you an opportunity. Please. All right. I'll have to put your fader down. Sumit Peer, respond to what Wing Commander Hanumacharya has said, and how is the Agniveer, according to you, unsafe and dangerous for national security?
Vineet, with due respects to the ma'am here, she's from the forces, and I have highest of respect her for, because she is from the forces because of that. No, politically we can have differences, but personally I have the greatest of regard for her. You see, first of all, let me answer the question regarding General V.K. Singh. No, General V.K. Singh is a decorated general, and he has a lot of credentials to his chest, and a lot of medals and a lot of feathers to his cap. Ma'am might have a different opinion about him, that can be personal, but that doesn't demean the personality and aura of a person. And if he has been the army chief, he is the army chief, whether you like it or not. He talks from that perspective, which you and me don't have the privilege of, Vineet. We have now not been there, or nobody on this panel has been there to talk from that perspective. That is fortunately the privilege which he has. So answering your question, Vineet, you see, if you look at all the armies of the world, today Indian Army was at a stage where 70 to 80% of the cost was going towards paying salaries and those, or what we call as the OPEX. Now, in the warfare which General Saab, we recently brought, which General Sudhakarji told us right now, network-centric warfare, we have electromagnetic warfare, we have these cyber attacks, we have drones, things like that. More and more money needs to be allocated towards the capital expenditure, that is buying newer weapons and things. Because today it's not a time we are fighting China with a 303 rifle. Those days are gone. So if you look at China, if you look at any of the countries of the world, they are going to this kind of a scheme wherein the fixed costs are being reduced, and you don't need such a big army. But at the same time, by the Agniveer scheme, you are creating a lot of reserves, which will be used in paramilitary, which will be used in police, which will be used in CISF, which will be used in all the security apparatus of the country. And these reserves will be in a military trained. Now, you will appreciate that a policeman's training is not that of a full-fledged military training. Agniveer entering police is already military trained. Agniveer entering CISF is already military trained. Agniveer entering any other allied forces or allied paramilitary forces is military trained. So you have these military trained people who will generally become a part over the time of the military apparatus of the country. This is how it is done, because you have to find money for the capital expenditure. You don't need such big armies. And with having that, I think the people at the helm of affairs, they understand the national security. You and me can have opinions on national security threat and all. I don't want to comment on that because that is your and my subjective opinion. I would not cast aspersions on a prime minister like Modi, Rajnath Singh ji, and all the generals and all the people who are serving with the uniform, that there's a big national security risk and these people are still going with it. You look at most of the countries of Europe, they follow this scheme. You look at the most of the, America follows this scheme. You look at the most of the major armies of the world, they follow this scheme. So in the era of modernization, if we have to follow this scheme, this is what it will. Few years down the line, if you think that it is not giving the ample results or the apt results, there will always a process of modification. But casting aspersions and getting army into the political things is not fair. Calling army ka chief gali ka gunda is not fair. Calling all the names to the asking proof of Balakot is not fair. A surgical strike nahi hua, it is not fair. You know, Khoon ki dalali is not fair. Maut ka Saudagar is not fair. Shumb Nashub is not fair. You can have personal problems against Prime Minister Modi. But my humble request is keep army away. Why didn't you do OROP all these 65 years? Why didn't you what took you 30 years to get a howitzer gun? Why did you have a Bofors scam? Why did the army...
This person is lying again and again. You have to give me a time to rebuttal.
Ma'am, I'll come to you. Ma'am, let him finish. Ma'am, let him finish. Let him finish. I'll come back to you. Let him finish. Sumit, wrap up.
I need just 30 seconds. Why did they have holes in their bulletproof jackets? Why was all the ammunition procured from outside? Why in the time of Kargil war we did not have spice bombs? Why at the time of Kargil war the Bofors guns ammunition was procured at 3 times the price from Saudis? Why did this happen? These are the questions which have to be answerable for. Now when we have become Atmanirbhar, we are cutting the imports. There is no cut and commission which is happening. Some people will feel rattled and will try to bring politics around it. But my humble request is, do not get the future of the youth and the security of the country for your political games. There are 1001 issues. Pick any political issue. Us pe rajniti kariye. Keep army out of that. That is my humble request.
Okay, General Sudhakar ji, what exactly is the problem that you find with Agniveer? You've already said in your first comment that you're opposed to it.
About the Agnipath that you were talking of?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, before I comment on the issue you are highlighting, Vineet, let me reinforce or endorse what my friend Sumit has said. You see, much of the issues related to national security should be, as far as possible, be kept in closed room discussions. All party meetings should be conducted, taking each one into confidence. Whole of nation must be consulted in confidentiality. And making an open remark like this is what, I have been often in your channel saying. There is a group, there is an organization which has been created by China to ensure that
this man has lost his mind, yeah.
Fall apart in issues like this. And therefore, I would urge every panelist in the discussion today that we need to exercise our responsibility, respect the anchor. There is some meaning and some direction which is being oriented towards the larger good of the nation building. What I see, the fault line of Agnipath is, this 4 years thing is actually a very, very troublesome and it is quite a problematic issue. When you talk about the 4 years of tenure of a Jawan, the training and his leave takes care of almost more than 50%, 50 to 60% of the time. If he's left with just about 1.5 to say maximum 2 years of time, is he competent enough to face the combat in the conflict zone? Talk about Anandnag, talk about line of control or line of actual control, wherein you are expected to actually subject your preparations or your body medical fitness for the high altitude, for the environment obtaining, so as to discharge your mandate effectively. So first, that is the first point. Second point is, large number of state-of-the-art equipments are coming into the armed forces, whether it is Army, Navy, Air Force or the strategic forces. This state-of-the-art equipments, it does require highly qualified people. But with the highly qualified people, unless we ensure continuity, then there is going to be a fault line, there will be a gap. So with the gap, with a new person coming, he will actually require that much of additional time to train.
All right, let me get a response from Wing Commander Anuma Acharya as well. She's been waiting to speak. Then we wrap up. Wing Commander Acharya?
Yeah, we need 3 minutes of propaganda by the other person whom you call whatever specialist. I must tell you one thing. That first remark of General VK saying when he was caught off guard the day it was launched, he said he was against it. He said, what nonsense. Remember that? You must remember that. And now whosoever is talking about national security, I want to ask them why Kargil happens when BJP government is in power. Why parliament attack happens when they are in power. When Samba air base, army base attack happens when BJP is in power. Why Pulwama? Why Free? Why Nagnauta? Why Pathankot? Why Srinagar airspace? You are talking about national security. Why all of this happens when only BJP government is in power? Why intelligence failure happens so many times? Only when BJP government is in power, because you want to scare the citizens and you want to scare them because you don't compromise with you live. What has actually have you still? The government has ever published the white paper we have been demanding? It doesn't. Government. They only want to politicize the armed forces. They only want to vote against that. That is what here it is. And
all right, okay, all right. Wing Commander Acharya, we've run out of time. Sumit, quick closing comments. Sumit, quickly, Sumit, 10 seconds, we've run out of time. We have to wrap up as is. Sumit.
Who lost POK? Who lost Accession? Who lost PFK? Who was friends with Omar Abdullah and Farooq Abdullah? Who said not building roads is the only defense of the country? What did you do? How many thousands of kilometers of land you gifted to Pakistan, you gifted to China, and you are talking about why did Pulwama happen? Your Rahul Gandhi questions the valor of the Indian army. Your Rahul Gandhi questions demonetization. Your Rahul Gandhi questions everything what the army did. Your leaders call army chief गली का गुंडा और अभी कह रहे पुलवामा क्यों हुआ? अभी आपके ऑक्सीजन कहाँ किसने दिया? Who lost POK? Who lost Gilgit Baltistan? What did you do? Who lost 1962 war? What did you do to strengthen the army? You are buying trucks from a catering company in United Kingdom. That truck from a catering company.
Okay, all right. We've run out of time. We've run out of time. Sumit and the rest of the panelists, appreciate you joining us, taking out the time.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.